I'm Jesse from JND Woodturning, and today we're going to make a fountain pen. I've already cut the blank to size. I already trimmed it out, and I have it on the lathe already mounted with the bushings in place. The wood that I'm going to use is a Buckeye burl. It's double dyed. It's not stabilized, so I believe after I turn it down, I'm going to put a CA finish on it. So what I'll do is I'll make the grain pop, and it will really bring out the colors of the dyed wood. This is a dyed wood that is a reddish blue. I didn't dye it myself, I bought it this way. I do my own stabilizing, and I also dye my own woods. I just didn't have a chance this time. So, without anything else, here we go. Just to remind you, make sure that if you're going to do any type of turning or woodworking, always wear protective equipment. Wear some type of respirator because you don't want to breathe in the wood dust. Wear a full face mask because, you know, chips fly and you have blowouts depending on what you're working on. You don't want to get hurt. And also ear protection. Remember, safety first. As you can see, I took it down to the bushings. Okay, just a little bit, and it's almost flat with the bushings. They always say leave a little, because when you sand, you take away some wood. And you see here there is a void. I'll move the camera so you can see a better angle. But this is coming out very nice. You can see. Let me move the camera so you can see better. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand it, and then I'm going to put some CA glue on it. Okay, the sanding's done. I see no scratches. Okay, I don't see any scratches. And what I'm going to do now is, before I apply the CA glue, I'm going to wipe it down. It's all wiped down. I'm going to vacuum up all the sanding, all the shavings before I like to clean my area up before I put CA glue down. Okay, I vacuumed the area, got all the shavings and the sawdust or wood dust, whatever, out of the way, and now I'm going to put the CA glue on here. And what I do is I use paper towel, and I cut them into squares. There you go. And I like the blue better than the standard white that you buy. And I buy these are shop paper towels. They're a little bit thicker, and I like the way they work when you put the CA glue on there. And what I use is, here you go, let's see if you can see that. It's Instabond pen finish. I get this at Craft Supplies USA. I really do like using this. Other people use just standard CA glue, and that will work also. It's all what you prefer. And then I just use a regular accelerant to speed up the drying process. So again, it's all sanded down, and I went through the standard grits from 150 to 600, and then I wiped it and mixed to get all any of the dust off of it. And now we're gonna apply the CA glue. And what I do is I turn down the lathe when I'm going to apply the glue. Okay. Usually after I put on like the second coat, I'll take a look at it, make sure I'm not getting any bubbles. It's looking good. I'll turn it back on. What I also do, and I don't know, you can't see it the way the camera's angled, I also put a piece of paper towel on the lathe so I don't get any glue on the lathe. That's 3 coats. I'll usually put on about 5 coats. Okay, that's 5 coats. That's plenty. That's what I put on. Like I said, some people put on more. Some people, when they put on it, they don't. They put it on the paper towel, and then they rub it onto the blank. There are different ways of doing it. This is the way that I like to do it for me. So that's all done. I sprayed it with accelerant. Now I'm just going to let it. It should be dry. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'll give it a few minutes and let it dry, and then I'm going to sand it with wet, dry sandpaper pads, and then we'll apply a plastic polish that's kind of used for acrylic pens, and then we'll assemble it and put it together. Okay, we're going to start sanding with its micro mesh. These are little sanding pads. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. Let's see if you can see that. That's what we're going to use. And it starts at 1500 and it goes all the way to 12,000. And what you do is, the way I use these, I have a cup of water here, and then I'm going to start sanding starting with the 1500, go all the way to 12,000. I dip them in water. Like I said, even though I use accelerant and it dried, I still will wait at least 10 minutes Make sure that it's completely dry, and then I'll start. And what I do is I'll use the paper towel that I have on my lathe to protect it from water, or well, it was protecting it from super glue, the super glue. So now, or the CA glue, and now I'm going to protect it from the water. I don't put a lot of pressure, I do light sanding. And then after each one, I will wipe it down. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at it. We want to make sure that we have no scratches, and if it's nice and smooth, very nice. I see no scratches. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a plastic polish, and I use two types when I do this. Now what I'm going to show you, they're not in the containers that they normally come in. Let me move the camera out a little bit. Okay. What I do is I have grandchildren, and they play with Play-Doh. So when the Play-Doh gets dried out, and instead of recycling, put these in the recycling, I take them and I use them in my shop. I don't like glass jars. I have glass jars that I use and I put things in, but I prefer to put things in plastic because if things, if you drop something, if you drop this, it's not going to break, but if you drop a glass jar, it's going to shatter. Especially my shop has a concrete floor. So the first thing I'm going to polish it with, it's called diamond polish. And then the second one, and I got this at an automobile store, and it really works well, is McGuire's plastic polish. They use it for cars, and it works great on acrylic blanks, polyresin, blanks with CA glue on them. So I use that as my second. I like using two. Some people just use the one. I've been always using two since I've been making pens, and I've been making pens since 2011, and I like the way it comes out when I use both polishes. So what I do is I get a clean paper towel, and I go from there. Now, some people will use a paper towel to rub it on, or they'll wear rubber gloves. What I do is I just put some on my finger and I rub it on the blank. And then I take the paper towel, I speed up the lathe on this part, and as I rub it in, I can actually tell that it's shining and I can see the shine. Very nice. Very nice. And now I'm going to take the McGuire's and do the same thing. I'm going to put some on my finger, and I'm going to put it on the pen blank. see if I can turn that. What a beautiful shine. Nice and smooth like glass. No scratches. Really looks nice. And now we're going to take it off a lathe and put it together. Before I take the blank off the bushings, I probably got some CA glue, and I don't want it to, if I pull it off, I can actually crack, I can actually crack it off the blank, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a parting tool, a miniature one, or a micro one, and I'm just going to cut, or just put it right here to scrape off some of the glue. Okay. Now there's going to be a little rough around the edges here, and I have a belt sander, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the belt sander and I'm going to sand it down real gentle to make sure get it nice and smooth. I've already pressed them together. I just want to show you what I use as a press. What I did was I have a pen press that I can use, but I also bought these discs that have magnets inside, and what you do is you put them on your tailstock and your headstock of your lathe, and you crank it, turn it, and press it together. I actually like this a lot better than my pen press. I like the way when you crank it, you're slowly putting pressure on it. I find it works a lot better. So I've already pressed them together, and now I'm going to finish putting it together, and I'll show you the final piece. Okay, the fountain pen's put together. As you can see, it's a fountain pen, chrome. It has a magnetic top. And there you go. And you can see it also posts to the end. And look at this, beautiful wood. Look at the figures, the burl eyes. Very nice. If you're not a subscriber and you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button below. I plan on making more videos in the future. If you like, please leave a comment. I answer all comments. Thank you again for watching, and you guys have a great day. This is Jesse from JND Woodturning. God bless. Bye.